There's one part of this section that I wanted to point out to you, and if you have your book, if it's like mine, it's on page 45. If not, it's towards the middle, kind of at the end of like the second third, I guess, of chapter 2, if you want to find it. It's at a point when Equality 72521 is about ready to go to bed for the night, and he's looking around at the living quarters. So I'm going to read some of you, or read some of that section to you. He says, yes, as we walked back to the home of the street sweepers, we felt that we wanted to sing without reason. So we were reprimanded tonight in the dining hall, for without knowing it, we had begun to sing aloud some tune we had never heard. But it is not proper to sing without reason, save at social meetings. We are singing because we are happy, we answered one of the home council who reprimanded us. Indeed, you are happy, they answered. How else can men be when they live for their brothers? And now, sitting here in our tunnel, we wonder about these words. It is forbidden not to be happy. For, as it has been explained to us, men are free, and the earth belongs to them, and all things on the earth belong to men, and the will of all men together is good for all, and so all men must be happy. Yet, as we stand at night in the great hall removing our garments for sleep, we look upon our brothers and we wonder. The heads of our brothers are bowed, the eyes of our brothers are dull, and never do they look one another in the eyes. The shoulders of our brothers are hunched, and their muscles are drawn, as if their bodies were shrinking, and wished to shrink out of sight. And the word steals into our mind as we look upon our brothers, and that word is fear. I find this section particularly interesting because it brought to mind for me something that I hadn't ever really thought of before until I read this book, that the emotions that we feel are a very individual part of our life that is really hard to stamp out. And you see governments like the one that Equality lives in doing great things to try and harness those emotions in a way that is really governed by propaganda. Propaganda, for those of you who don't know, is most commonly, I think most commonly we think of propaganda in association with the government, particularly around the time of World War II. It's the idea of government using, or people in power using specific phrases or specific ideas over and over and over again until they kind of get ingrained into your mind, and it's really hard to escape them. So the government telling everybody that they're happy when Equality is able to look around and see that they're really not is that kind of manipulation. And I thought it was interesting that he kind of brings up the idea that the opposite of happy isn't sadness in this community. The opposite of being happy is fear. And to me, that kind of changed my mindset on how I look at my reactions to what current governments do, or my reaction to news events. Am I actually responding in a way that is honest? Have I actually looked at the conditions surrounding the politics and the choices that are being made? Or am I just following what I've been trained to think about these things? Do I automatically hear something a politician says without actually listening to it and just react without actually thinking about it? I think that one of the best ways that I have found I can gain more individuality and more control over myself as an individual is to not take what I hear for granted, but to actually try and become educated about the things that are going on in the news and what people say to me, so that I don't form opinions based on tradition, but that I form opinions and ideas based on what I actually think about what I hear.